Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Now you guys absolutely smashed the last ESL video. That was from the second round of the upper bracket. Now I'm going to bring you the losers final, the last game of the best of three. But we're going to do it a little bit different this time. We're going to be going through and breaking down from the replay. So instead of you guys seeing the live gameplay, we'll do a breakdown and I'll tell you a few things about what happened, what the communication was like, and things like that. Now in this game, the winner faces Singularity in the grand finals of the qualifiers. We played Xayah this game with Braum in lane. Now Xayah Braum's a really nice combo. If you can get the passive off with the Braum with the consecutive blows, you can combo that with the Xayah feathers to get a nice stun off. We're against Jin Galio. Braum does pretty well into Galio because Galio normally wants to go in and engage, where Braum is a more defensive, support, being able to defend AD carry from the auto attacks, from the crowd control with his shield. And we're against, obviously, the Jinx as well. Now, Jinx is not the best in terms of the early game. She normally scales up into the mid and the late game. In terms of top lane, we got Camille versus Fiora. Mid lane, we got Orianna versus Katarina. And in the jungle, we got Vi against Darius. Right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? So, in this game, like I said, it's the last game of the best of three. The winner of this faced Singularity in the final. It's a pretty crazy pop-off game. You can see here that, actually I didn't even realise this. Actually, no, we did think of this, actually, I think in this game, is that they weren't doing anything at level 1. What happened in the game before this is that we invaded red buff really late on. So, obviously, they tried a little cheese, little camp in the bush in the top lane, which didn't really work out because we decided to play more passive this game instead of going in for level 1 invade. But if we did go in for that level 1 invade, it would have been very interesting. Obviously, Vi starting bot side allows us to be able to get priority in the lane and be able to get that advantage early on, being able to get that push and that lane priority. Obviously, Vi jungle starting from bottom side is able to go up to the top side crab as well, and normally we have a lot of pushing power against the Galio and the Jinx as well. So when we're able to push out, when the Vi eventually comes to top side to be able to get a scuttle crab, she will be able to, or will be able to move and get priority. Some laner phase at the moment, it's not going too bad. They're actually roaming really early on here. I think to try and get some vision down, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they tried to get some vision down on the blue buff. You can see now our jungler, Chan, I'm not calling you Hentai, I'm calling you Chan. Chan moves into the red side jungle, trying to get some vision, but as you can see, there's a ward there. But he's kind of waiting for the Scuttle Crab to spawn. As you can see, we've got the push priority. They've got a cannon minion that they have to deal with. So we're able to push into the river and help our jungler out with the Scuttle Crabs. Really important to do this, especially in competitive play. You're trying to see it happen sometimes in solo queue, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult to kind of communicate with your team. But Scuttle Crab obviously gives the most XP and the most gold in terms of the, jungle, and it gives you nice vision control around that area. The Vi is able to go back, farm up the rest of the jungle, and get to level 5 as soon as possible. See, Darius is in the bot side at the moment, farming up and getting the, art Krugs, I should say. Normally as a jungle in the first clear, you don't really do the Krugs. So you kind of want to try and go to the enemy's Krugs to try and get a little bit of an advantage. You see Galio is just in the river at the moment. I think he was trying to get some more vision control. You can see in the bot lane here, crazy dive happening to Mozilla at the moment, trying to survive a 2v1 situation. Actually does really well to survive the whole thing, and I think Chan goes in and gets the nice easy kill on the Darius. So overall 1-for-1 trade, considering top laner for jungler, which is not too bad, considering Mozilla got dove early on, is really nice. Moving back to us up in the top lane. See that little bit of a trade happened as that trade was happening in the bot side of the map. But nothing too crazy at the moment. Both ADs and both supports kind of low on HP. The only thing about Galio support is that poke that you see there. It's kind of hard to dodge the poke from Galio and trying to make sure that you don't get hit by it. Because it's like 2 winds that kind of go into 1 tornado, so it's a bit difficult. But not too bad overall. I think we stay here to push out 1 more wave because I think Onion wanted to get 1 more minion or 1 more wave for turrets. And then they try and go for a little engage here. and they actually get completely caught out, and we trade support in the end. I was probably able to kill Jinx there, but I didn't know where the rest of the team was. But Katarina tries to come in here, tries to get a cheeky tower dive off, but nothing too crazy happening there. So they tried to cheese us a little bit there, but you can see the, you know, the benefits of this Xayah Braum lane. Galio was jumping in, trying to use the taunt to try and kill Braum. Braum was able to put the shield up, block all the damage, and being able to, you know, get the passive off on the Galio. And then after the passive goes off, you kind of wait until the concussive blows stops, or the cooldown gets expired on the concussive blows, and then you're able to stun the enemy champion with your feathers. Bazilla gets a nice solo kill in the bot side of the map. We decide to start off Dragon here because we know that we're in a 4v5 situation. Bazilla can roam down, but I feel like we're stronger in a 4 versus 4 situation. Unfortunately, the Dragon gets stolen away, and we kind of get absolutely demolished here, to be fair. I get a nice little double. Actually, I didn't get a double because I remember this. Katarina just survives on 1 HP. It was kind of an unfortunate situation, but yeah, a bit unfortunate. I think the one way we could have stopped that dive from happening is actually going over to this blast cone over here. So there's normally a blast cone that spawns right around here, and this blast cone that spawns here. If we ward over the wall, if this ward doesn't happen here, if we ward over the wall here instead, and if we auto attack the blast cone, it's actually a lot better, because then the Darius has to move around the dragon pit, and obviously we get completely stopped in the dragon pit. Go for exchange on the top side of the map. We get a little bit caught out here by the Galio taunt. Onion trying to go in to get a cheeky kill, but unfortunately we couldn't get a cheeky little pull off there. But yeah, I mean, the Dragon not too bad. It's Cloud Drake, even though it's the most, well, it's the highest win rate, sorry, Drake in the whole game according to JCM. But overall, not a I guess not a bad trade overall. We traded like 2 kills each, I think. I think we killed 2 and they killed 2. So overall, not a bad trade, but obviously they got the Dragon, and then obviously they got kill in the top side of the map as well. As you can see, Jinx now has 3 kills early on, and obviously a Jinx with 3 early kills is not a thing you want to see. Going for that Blade Rune King first, and then going into what looks like the Runan's Hurricane. They actually decide to lane swap here, so they want to go for this Rift Herald play, but we realize that we can't actually do anything in terms of this Rift Herald. We don't really want to contest it. I think we try and go for a steal here. Not really too sure on. I don't think we actually go for a steal. I think instead we go for the, you know, we try and go for the first turret. In this situation, it's probably best to try and get the first turret, and like the jungler or the mid laner to push up into the lane. Orianna nearly dies here in the end. Darius comes in and then gets the final kill onto our mid laner. Back into the top lane, I think I try and 1v1 the Fiora. I think he kills me here, or I can't remember. Yeah, he kills me just in the end. Obviously, Braum roaming to mid lane there. Kind of my own mistake. Braum roams to mid lane. And obviously trying to defend the mid lane tower, because the mid lane tower is super, super important. And we kind of get in a little bit caught out here. Yeah. We're all dead, pretty much. So not the best situation there. But, I mean, in terms of that play, normally what you want to do with the Rift Herald is that if the enemy team kind of swaps in terms of, you know, lane swaps in terms of getting a Herald priority, because it's after 4 minutes in the game, you could honestly just send, like, your top laner, your mid laner or your jungler to top lane. Sorry about that. You can send your top laner or your mid laner into... your jungler or the mid laner into the top lane and kind of trade the first turret for the Rift Herald, but instead we didn't actually trade anything for it. We lost a tower in the mid lane, tower in the top lane, we lost Herald, and yeah, not very good trade overall for us. I mean, for us, we've only played together for like, you know, a few days, sorry, before the tournament started, so things like that will come over time once we get, you know, a bit more practice and everything in, but just little things that obviously make a huge difference in competitive play. Because obviously competitive play and solo queue is very, very different in terms of how you play. I think I get a little bit caught out here. Yeah, I get a little bit caught out and have to flash away from the Darius. Really good play by the Darius to be able to, you know, camp in the bush. and do really well. Now, obviously, this is Infernal Drake. Now, this is a really, really huge Drake. Now, Fiora gets completely caught out in the mid lane here, unfortunately. And now we're in a 4v5 situation. So now we have to think to ourselves, how are we going to play this fight? We kind of need to wait for Mozilla to kind of come in and help us out in terms of this 4v5 situation. As you can see, we're kind of playing front to back. We're killing their front line first. Jinx gets a little bit caught out. It gets caught out by the ultimate from the Camille as well. And Mozilla is able to get that kill as well. Katarina tries to jump in. Unfortunately, nothing happens there. And then Darius is able to get these disgusting resets off that he can get, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think the problem that we did there was that after we got the kill here on the Fiora, we should have really backed off and kind of waited for Mozilla to come in. As you can see, Ghost gets a... I don't know if he actually gets a kill. Yeah, he does get a cheeky call onto Darius in the end, which is quite a big shutdown onto the Darius, which is pretty nice. Overall, not too bad. I mean, we got a nice pick onto the Fiora, but then after that, we should have kind of backed off and waited for Mozilla to come through the mid lane to be able to help us out. So yeah, it's trying to, you know, realize that, you know, can we step forward? Can we, you know, get an advantage and things like that as well. Overall, not a bad trade again. You know, we're behind at the moment, so we'll take any even trades that we can get, which is what we're mostly getting at the moment. I decided to go top lane here to clear out top wave to try and get the pressure in for the dragon. Obviously, Infernal Drake, one of the most important drakes, gives you a lot of damage and helps you scale up a lot into the mid and the late game. See a bit of a fight happening here in the mid lane with Mozilla. Darius tries to run forward and tries to kill everyone. But we know against their comp, they pretty much have all melees except for Jinx. So as long as we play front to back, we kill their front line first, and then we're able to, you know, push into the back line, then we'll be completely fine. We just have to make sure we focus the Darius and make sure he doesn't get the resets. As you can see, they take the Infernal Drake here, which is pretty unfortunate. But we're able to get a really nice pick off onto the Fiora. Fiora actually steps up. We get a nice little triple kill there into, I think, the quadra kill. Oh no, I'm not too sure if we actually got a quadra kill there. But we lost the Drake again, but again, they kind of overstepped a little bit, which was kind of a misplay by them. And we was able to get a few kills out of it. So, obviously, what they did there was really good. They got mid lane priority, so we had to, you know, go back and take the minions and kind of push out mid lane. So they were able to take that advantage of pushing out the mid lane and being able to go into the jungle and get the, obviously, the jungle priority and go into the dragon to get the quick and easy dragon. Overall, not a bad start to the game. It's a bit of a back and forth game at the moment. Obviously, they got quite an early advantage, but as you can see, I'm in a really strong spot at the moment. I have 6 kills, 2 deaths. I have my Infinity Edge, I have my Rapid Fire Cannon. I now have the Executioner's Calling, which is really good against their team. Obviously, going to be Katarina, it's going to be healing. Jinx is going to be healing. Darius is going to be healing. And even the same with Fiora as well. So you have a lot of healing on their team. So me getting that early Executioner's Calling is really important for us and the team. Actually, Mozilla gets a little bit caught out here, but we realize that we can actually turn and kill the Fiora straight away again, which is really nice. Now, again, we're in a 4v5 situation, but we need to be a little bit careful because the rest of our team is not here. And get a little bit caught out in the end. Probably going a little bit too aggressive since our jungler was bot side. I think making sure that they were not doing the Baron, sorry, at the time. Galio gets a nice taunt here off onto me. We were able to get a really nice ulti off into the rest of the team. Obviously, Katarina, really fun champion. Able to kill me off there solo. And in the end, they killed the Jinx on the backline. So it wasn't too bad. So in terms of overall, it was a 1-for-1 trade. In terms of the AD carries each. Overall, not a bad way to you know, to kind of stall out this game. At the moment, we're kind of stalling. We're making sure that obviously we are not, you know, being over aggressive, trying to get caught out. We're trying to stay as a team at the moment. And we scale up pretty well. We have Orianna scaling, we have Camille scaling, I scale up as well. So we know that in the mid and late game, we do still have a chance, even though we are behind at the moment. Obviously, we're behind 2 Drakes as well, 2 of the probably the most impactful Drakes at the moment, the Cloud and the Infernal. But we know that we beat these guys before in the higher brackets, in the upper brackets, to get into the upper bracket final that we unfortunately lost against Singularity. And they were able to go through the lower brackets into lower bracket final and face against us. Obviously, this is the 3rd game. But overall here, what, you know, the main thing to note is that we're not doing anything crazy. We're not like playing over aggressive or anything like that. We're kind of farming up, you know, we're taking the minions in the waves. We're kind of making sure that we don't overstep, which is the main thing. See Orianna in mid lane kind of staying back. We're all staying back. We're making sure we're warding out the jungle so they can't catch us out for any crazy things. You can see they're trying to play into the bot side here. I think we got a nice pick on the Katarina actually in the mid lane, which is really, really nice. Really good pick my team did here onto the Katarina. Playing that into the Galio as well. And now we have an advantage. Now we know we caught out the Katarina mid lane. I think Chan actually got a really, really good ultimate onto the Katarina. I think I remember him shouting out, "Get Katarina, get Katarina." That's all I can remember. And now we have an advantage. Now we know that we're able to pressure the Baron in a 3 versus 5 situation. As you can see, no one's really near us. Now, the main thing we did here is when Darius comes in, just kill Darius. You can see here, everyone stops attacking Baron completely, and we all kill the Darius. Really, really important to do this. Especially in, obviously, competitive plays. Kind of communicate with your team and know that, obviously, if the jungler comes in, you stop attacking Baron. Because there's been a couple of situations, obviously, in solo queue, and that is that if you carry on attacking Baron in that situation, Darius is able to walk in and kind of get that 50-50 smite and be able to, you know, potentially steal off the Baron. But in the end, we did really, really well. We were able to kill the Darius. Everyone just focused Darius as soon as he walked into the pit. Able to focus the Darius down and kill the Darius before the Baron even got low enough for him to be able to smite it. So really good play overall by the team, and obviously now we're in a pretty good situation. We're even on gold. We have the Mountain Drake. We have the Baron buff at the moment. So now the main thing is trying to get that advantage with the Baron buff, being able to, you know, get that advantage and be able to push down the lanes and kind of make sure that we make it worthwhile to get the Baron buff. You see I have the IE, I have the rapid fire cannon and the mortar reminder in my kit now as well. And you can see all of us are scaling quite well, which is really, really nice. Obviously get another pick onto the Fiora here, which is really, really well played. Again, really good way of showing how good Braum and Xayah is. Braum is able to walk up, use the shield and play really, really well. See Darius trying to come in onto the backline there, which unfortunately didn't really work out too well for them. And we were able to get quite a few kills in the end there as well. I think we actually go on to, win here? I think we actually use the Baron buff and try and win the game off of this push. Can't remember exactly what happens here. I think we go on and win the game from here on out. But really showing that obviously if you get behind in early game, you can still come back. You can still play well. And can still win the games even if you do fall behind in the early game. But really, really well played by us. We got into the grand final against Singularity. Unfortunately, obviously, Singularity are a great team. They had 4 of their players, plus I think their manager or their coach that was playing, because they have to have 3 UK players. But unfortunately, we lost in the grand final. But we got second seed for the ESL Premiership Wild Rift, which starts on Tuesday, next Tuesday, which is the 20th of April. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And yeah, really good, really good game overall. Obviously, a tough early game, but it shows that, we're able to stick together. We're able to make plays even from behind, which is really good for, a new team that have obviously come together like us. And as you can see in the end, we did pretty well. We got MVP 9, 3, and 10. And it really shows, I think the main thing to note about this, it really shows the benefits of Braum. I feel like Braum is not really a sleeper, but kind of a champion that does really, really well, especially, in terms of being that frontline tank and being able to carry kind of the team fights with the passive, with the concussive blows. But not too bad in terms of damage, 26,000 damage overall in the game. Jinx obviously did a lot more damage, but we're able to get a few picks. Obviously, the early game wasn't too great. We kind of took fights that we shouldn't have, and we kind of got, that early Dragon Steal that happened by the enemy team. Overall, we were able to stick it out, farm up, not play over aggressive, and we're able to obviously get that pick in the mid lane to the with the Katarina, which is really, really well played by Chan, and I think it was Gloat in the mid lane. And then going from there, being able to catch out the Galio as well, then going over to the Baron, we did really, really well as a team to get the Baron control, which was really, really nice, and being able to kill the Darius at Baron. Then from there, going on to the Dragon to get Mountain Drake, which is really, really important against their team. Obviously, they have a lot of people that can jump onto you and do a lot of damage. But like I said, against this comp, if you're ever against this type of comp, just remember, the best thing to do is play front to back. Front to back means you basically peel off and all of you stick together as 5 and you just kill the front line first. You know, they've got Darius, Galio, Katarina, and Fiora that all have to jump into you. So if they're all jumping into you, just kill the front line. And once you kill the front line, you're able to take that 4 versus 5 advantage and being able to go and kill the rest of their team. But overall, we did pretty well. We were able to win the lower bracket finals 2-1. As I said, hopefully we can do pretty well in the ESL Premiership, which starts next Tuesday. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown. Obviously, it wasn't the best early game from us, but as you can see, that we're still doing quite well as a team. Yeah, I hope you guys can support us next week, and hopefully we will do you all proud. But I appreciate you watching the video. As always, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out my streams that I'll be streaming later on today. Make sure you stay tuned for that. And as always, take care of yourselves. Have a good rest of the day. Peace.